All right, everybody, welcome into the Rant. We do it every Monday through Friday. By we, I mean me, myself, Pugs Moran, and all of us here at Radio Misfits Dallas, live from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios here on beautiful, beautiful E Gallery in, oh God, I screwed it up. I'm usually so good at that. Just whap, 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 rolls off the top of my head. Let me try it again. It's a Monday. And these allergies, man, they are back. Oh, because it got cold this weekend. And now everything's messed up. Welcome into the Rant, live from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the beautiful E Gallery in Dallas's fantastic design district. We are Radio Misfits Dallas, a part of RadioMisfits.com. There you go. We do talk radio here. At least this show. This show is an attempt at doing talk radio in a way that talk radio isn't done anymore. It's we're talking to normal people, normal Americans who do not need every single one of their thoughts to be filtered through a lens of partisanship based on how you're supposed to vote and all that. We don't do politics too much. At least we don't allow political partisanship to shape our opinions on things. Everything's political, so it's hard to avoid. Also, you should know, because right now, if you're new, and you're not, let's not kid ourselves. We don't have new people. We got the same awesome folks every day. But if you're new, the show is performed as a stream of consciousness. No breaks, no commercials, no songs, no conversation. Nobody's counterpoint to my point. Just me, stream of consciousness. Whatever I'm thinking is what I say, and we move on. This show is designed, however, just because we got to keep it, within the rails. It's going to get you all prepped up on current events. We do it in 4 quarters. First quarter, we look back at history of this day. We riff a little on that, then birthdays, then deaths, and then fourth quarter, that's all the hot topics and current events and stuff. How was your weekend? Everybody have a good weekend? I had a weekend with the boy. It was an odd weekend. We did nothing, and sometimes I'll describe our weekends as having done nothing. But even when I say that, we at least went out and did something. Maybe went for a dog walk, went to a Kroger, maybe went to a place and had a little dinner. That's what I typically would describe as a weekend where we do nothing. This weekend we did absolutely nothing. World's laziest 15-year-old is apparently what I have. So I don't know. Did I tell you this on Friday? He was here with me on Friday, so maybe we didn't go into it because you just want me talking about it. Well, you know what? Tough. So he plays football, and on Thursday nights, That's junior varsity here in we call it Thursday night sunset. Thursday night blinding sunset is what we call it. Not Friday night lights. It's Thursday night blinding sunset here in Texas at the junior varsity level. Well, he got injured on Thursday. And what started out when he got injured in the game and he came out and they were like, messing around with his leg and his knee. We're right there. We're like 5 feet away because we're in the first row of the stands. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? And he turns to me and he goes, I'm fine. I just hurt my knee, right? That's all it was. Just hurt my knee. I'm like, okay, well, he says he's fine. And he goes right back into the game. So after the game, I'm picking him up. And he comes out of the locker room and he's limping. He's like, oh my God, here we go. Now suddenly it's like, oh, I can't even, Dad, come carry me. I can't. It's that whole thing. So he gets in the car. And I'm like, you want to go get something to eat? It's only like 8:00 on a Thursday. Let's go. You got to be hungry. And he's like, okay, but it's got to be drive-through. See, because sometimes I don't like the drive-through. If we go to what do we call it? A fast food restaurant. Me and my kid, I like to sit in there. I like to sit in there with the peasants. The rest of us. I like to sit in there with the regular people. I like to look at the homeless guy. And, there's always a homeless guy. Anyway, he didn't like to do that because he twisted his knee. Okay, see? So it went from now I just turned my knee a little to now it's twisted. Okay. Then later I asked him to do something on Saturday afternoon, and it was, I popped my knee. It was okay. So now it's popped. Now he can't even get out of bed. Now it's popped. He popped. Oh, you popped your knee, huh? And then it ultimately on Sunday afternoon, when I said, let's go out for a walk, let's take a walk with the dog, he said, I hyperextended my knee. Now we're at hyperextended. Oh, okay. So you can't do nothing, I guess. It's funny, when he was leaving my house, he like comes gingerly down the steps. He's walking down the steps. He's like, it's just hard to go down steps. Then I drop him off at his house, and his dog is waiting for him on the front porch. So he runs up the steps like no problem to get to his dog, Milker. So we did nothing this weekend. He laid on a couch. He ate a bunch of chips and dips, drank a whole bunch of like Powerades. He likes Powerade. He drank a whole bunch of Powerades and watched football endlessly. And then anytime, hey, get up and get me something, it was, I hyperextended my knee. I can't. So that's it. That's small talk, guys. I don't have a great small talk segment for you today. Later on, we watched football. We watched college football on Saturday. We watched pro football yesterday. In between, here's something. So he still wants to go to Florida, which is very upsetting. So we had to continue watching the Aaron Rodgers. Ryan Murphy is doing this like homoerotic slasher / football Lifetime movie kind of thing. And my kid's really into it. My kid's like, no, it's because he likes football. He's crazy about football. But his takeaway from the whole Aaron Rodgers thing is that he now wants to go to Florida. Which I don't think that's what the producers were intending. I think the producers were like, yeah, no, this is probably going to hurt Florida recruiting. Not in my kid's head. My kid's like, it seems, Dad, like they have fun at Florida. I go, they do. They do. And they're good. I'm like, well, they used to be. They used to be really good when they were, cheating and stuff. With Urban. All right, let's say hi to the chat room. Let's see. We got Peter in the chat room. Hi, Peter. We got Fast Outdoor Food. He's in the chat room. He says, hey, all. Hope everyone had a good weekend. On the road today. So I thought I'd tag along for the ride. Come on, Fast. KB's here. The sports bras are, of course, here. He's making excuses. CC of the sports bras, like, no, his adrenaline came down after the game. No, it didn't. He just realized that, hey, this is an opportunity for me to not have to do absolutely anything all weekend because everybody who's going to ask me to do shit that I don't want to do watched me get carried off the field. I'm going to milk this. Oh, he's practicing today. He's fine. He's fine. He's not going to miss the game. I'm like, you're going to miss a game? He's like, no, not if you get off my back, I won't. Like, became that thing. Like me asking him to take the garbage out is going to be the reason he's going to miss a game. What are you going to do? Al says, go Eagles. Okay. We're just going to shout out our random team affiliations and all that stuff. Let me see. I'm not ready. I'm not ready to actually jump into the show. So give me a second here. Let me pull up my cheat sheet. Let me pull up my bullet points of all the stuff that we got to talk about today. Oh, also, it should be mentioned every day, this show, for 3 years now, we've been on the air every Monday through Friday, offering you an alternative to the kind of talk radio that your regular radio seems to think you want. But the show runs on your gratuity. So if you feel so inclined at random moments throughout the show, you're going to see a banner up there, which will encourage you to drop a little tip, whether in the Venmo or in the Cash App. Doesn't matter. It all goes to the same place, and we do appreciate it. The big tipper from each and every show, they're awarded the title of executive producer. We'd like to say the executive producer of today's show. We didn't get any tips over the weekend. That's okay. Don't have to. We got a pledge week coming up next week, so it's going to be nasty. Ugh, it's going to be a bloodbath. So help out when you have to, not when you can. Although both are appropriately appreciated. What am I trying to say? We skipped over, I think, Leslie C. So Leslie C., one of the terrific people who keep us on the air, she was a tipper last week, and I feel like she got stepped on or stepped over. So thank you to Leslie C., the executive producer of today's show. If you want to be the executive producer of tomorrow's show, just be the big tipper today. Drop a little something in the Cash App or the Venmo. Okay, let's get started. It is time for the rant. It is the 21st day of October, year of our Lord 2024. 295 days have already been passed in this year. 71 remain until whatever, New Year's Eve. Get those New Year's Eve plans started. You know how we say it. We say it like that around here. Time for quarter one. Antecedently, on this day, this is where I cherry pick a couple of events throughout history. We talk about it. Maybe we find ways for it to apply to how we're living these days. Antecedently, on this day in 1879, Thomas Edison applies for a patent for his design for an incandescent light bulb. Screw this guy. Yeah, I mean, we talked about him on Friday, I think. For some reason, Edison came up. This dude, chose to electrocute an elephant. That's all I take away from him. Whoa, but he did so much for electricity. Dude, Tesla was right on his ass. Some say Tesla was ahead of him. He stole Tesla's ideas. Why? Because he did crazy, outlandish things, like electrocuting an elephant. So screw him. Thomas Edison, 1879. We don't need your light bulb. Tesla would have come up with, we're not going to have light bulbs if you're not a thing, Thomas Edison. I don't think so. We'd have light bulbs. Tesla had one, I'm sure. Maybe he had something different. Maybe something different would have been cooler. Light bulbs, they look stupid. Antecedently on this day, nothing happened really for 100 years. Seriously, 1879, Edison, he did the light bulb. And then in 1973, here's another thing that, this isn't even in the same ballpark, but whatever. On this day in 1973, Fred Dryer of the Los Angeles Rams becomes the first player in NFL history to score 2 safeties in the same game. Fred Dryer. He's a little before my time, but he was Hunter. He would be Hunter, NBC's Hunter. Remember that show in the 80s when they were just giving football players shows? Yeah. If you played football in the 60s, or early 70s, you got TV shows in the 80s. Started with Alex Karras. He got, what was that movie Alex Karras got? Or TV show? No, it didn't even start with Alex Karras. Started with Merlin Olsen. Merlin Olsen got Little House on the Prairie, and then that became Father Murphy. Then Alex Karras from the Detroit Lions, he got the Webster Show. Couldn't think of the name. I'm like, with that Webster kid. Webster was the show. He got that. Then Fred Dryer got Hunter on NBC, where he was just like a TV Clint Eastwood. That's kind of his whole bag. What else do we get? Ed Marinaro, Hill Street Blues. Ed Marinaro from Hill Street Blues, who's running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who else did we have? Anyway, they gave you shows. On this day, 1973, Fred Dryer, only player in NFL history, or first, can't be only if it says first player to score 2 safeties in the same game. Antecedently on this day in 2011, President Barack Hussein Obama announces that the withdrawal of, you see how unnecessary that is? It's just silly. Barack Obama announces that the withdrawal of the United States troops from Iraq will be complete by the end of the year. Or whatever. So troops came home from Iraq? All right, very good. Shouldn't have been there in the first place if you're asking me. Antecedently on this day in 2021, a shooting occurs. Rust. Alec Baldwin. He's trending. We'll talk about him in quarter 4. Alec Baldwin's trending. 3 years ago today, the Rush shooting happened. The shooting where Alec Baldwin murdered. Remember? He's a crazy murderer. He just wanted to murder. He wanted to taste blood. He wanted to smell skin ripping open. And he wanted to smell what life smells like as it leaves the body. Whatever. There was a stupid accident by a bunch of Hollywood people. He's not a murderer. But he's not. Yeah, no, I get it. It's all political. He hates Trump and he played Trump. And this was an opportunity to call him a murderer, put him in jail. He doesn't deserve to go to jail. It's a terrible accident. Anyway, that was 3 years ago. I remember where I was when this happened. I was at the SMU Temple game. It was a Thursday night national game on ESPN. We were all very excited. Out there watching Rashee Rice before he became a son of a bitch for what he did on 75 Central Expressway. Now he's hurt. Karma. I think he's out for the season. Karma. Anyway, we were at the Temple's SMU game right there, and my phone started going off, and I'm like, "What? What?" We started learning that that was the night that it broke 3 years ago tonight. Alec Baldwin shooting Rust. Look, you can make whatever you think happened there. Trust me. Whatever you want to think happened there, there are endless things online that will support you. So, whatever. Just stupid Hollywood people. There you go. That's going to do it. See what a lame day today is. There's not a whole lot of great things from history on this day. I have to apologize, but that's going to do it. That's antecedently on this day. Now let's do birthdays, ladies and gentlemen. These people claim it's their birthday. How do we know for sure? Well, we don't. Born on this day in 1952, Patti Davis, American actress and author. Although she's not famous for any of those things, but they just put it in there. You guys know what Patti Davis is famous for? She's Reagan's daughter. She's Ronald Reagan's daughter. Patti Davis. Oh my God. Born on this day in 1956, 4 years after Patti Davis, Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia, was born on this day. Here's why that's weird. You guys, you ever seen Patti Davis? She looks exactly like Carrie Fisher. Patti Davis and Carrie Fisher look very, very similar. Go look at it right now. I'll give you permission. Just leave this box open so you're listening to the show. But look at Patti Davis and then look at Carrie Fisher, and you'll see what I'm getting at. They look very similar. Born on this day in 1956, Carrie Fisher. Born on this day in 1980, my best friend, Kim Kardashian. How old is Kim? 44? Yeah, looking good, Kim. Actually, Kim's getting to that point now where, just let it fall into place naturally, baby. Just like a fine wine. Don't be dicking around. Don't get giant duck lips. Don't get completely weirded out plastic surgery. I fear Kim Kardashian might already, be in the whole plastic surgery overload thing, but that's a shame. Anyway, there you go. Kim Kardashian, born on this day, 1980. Now, I'm trying to decide, do we want to do a kiss, marry, kick with Patti Davis, Carrie Fisher, and Kim Kardashian? I don't think so. I think the question comes down to this, okay? Carrie Fisher was, oh my God, which one? I can't do it. I can't do a kiss, marry, kick with Patti Davis, Carrie Fisher, and Kim Kardashian. Because they're all crazy. I don't want to marry any of them. Can't do it. I won't marry any of them. Maybe Kim, because money. There's money there. There's money with Kim Kardashian. Maybe her. Yeah, there we go. Born on this day in 1988, Glenn Powell. I don't know who Glenn Powell is, but here's what I know. He's a big movie star. I think he was in the Top Gun. Don't know who he played. I know that Glenn Powell was on the sideline at the Texas-Georgia game over the weekend. He was with Matthew McConaughey, maybe. I don't know. Maybe they weren't together, but they were mentioned in the same breath. I don't know who he is. My 15-year-old son does, and he says, he's pretty cool, Dad. Then I got to look at him, and I went, oh, he's one of those. He's one of those guys that's going to be like a huge movie star for the next 20 years. Okay, I'm just realizing him now. Kind of like first time you see Brad Pitt. Well, where do we first see him? Chicks. Lesbian movie. Chicks. Not really a lesbian movie, but it's been claimed as like an iconic film in lesbian history. Chicks drive car off cliff. But Brad Pitt. First time, Thelma and Louise. Thank you. That was the first time I saw Brad Pitt, and I went, I get it now. That dude's going to be a star. He's going to be around forever. And I was right. Glenn Powell is that guy. He's that guy for 2024. Glenn Powell. Born on this day in 1988. Happy birthday. Born on this day in 1995. Doja Cat. Doja Cat. Happy birthday, Doja Cat. Yeah, no idea. No idea who Doja Cat is. I know Doja Cat is famous. I got no idea who it is. Honestly, before I had to look this up today, and I've had to do this before, it just doesn't stick, and I don't know why it doesn't stick. But I had to look this up. I had to click on it when I saw it was Doja Cat's birthday, because my very first thing was, okay, you try and picture them. Like, can I picture Doja Cat? Nope, couldn't do that. Nothing came up. Then I went, wait a second. Is Doja Cat a dude or a girl? Didn't even know. Not sure. Then I went with, oh, but it's 2024, man. Maybe I'm asking the wrong question. I'm trying to be like, maybe they're gender neutral or something, right? I'm thinking that way. No, she's definitely not gender neutral. She's a chick. I looked her up. I looked at her. Doja Cat is, in fact, a chick. I think if I had to bet the kids' child fund or college fund, I would probably go dude. Doja Cat sounds like a dude name. She's a chick. She's kind of hot, too. That was very strange. There you go. Those are birthdays, ladies and gentlemen. They say it's their birthday, and those are the people who are celebrating them. So we also say happy birthday to most of them. All right, let's do dead people. These are people who've died on this day. People who've died on this day. We take a look at their lives, and we decide where'd they go. Heaven or hell. All right, who's with me? Let's see here. Dead on this day. Oh, God. Okay. All right. Jack Kerouac is dead on this day. He's going to hell. Jack Kerouac and Bukowski and Ginsberg. Look, all of you just insufferable beat era writers. I never got into that. Oh, my God. My generation, especially, Generation X, we just got walloped with the whole, like, sort of nihilistic, on the road Jack Kerouac bullshit. Who's the dude that was like way into that? He was like, oh, if there's a movie about Jack Kerouac, I'll be in it. Who is that dude? Is it dude? That's very helpful. He's a dude. Hey, did all those insufferable early 90s movies. He did a lot of Linklater movies. I think he was in Boyhood. Yeah, he was the dad in Boyhood. What's his name? It's not like River. It's not that. It's can't think of his name. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He like made that shit popular. Like chicks were like, oh, beat poetry. They all go to hell. Jack Kerouac, dead on this day in 1969. Boring. Now Hemingway, you want to talk Hemingway? Hemingway wasn't boring. Hemingway was interesting, huh? Tell me about your beat poets. Bunch of losers, bunch of boring. Somebody in the chat room has to know who I'm talking about, right? I don't know. I can't think of the guy's name. Maya. He's got a daughter named Maya. I know that. His daughter Maya. And I think he hooked up with Uma Thurman. This is a new game. This is a game show. This is a live stream game show where you get a guy who can barely remember shit. And then people like try to guess who it is that I'm talking about. All right, never mind. We'll never know. We will never know who I'm talking about. I think he was with Uma Thurman. He was in Boyhood. And he did a whole bunch of movies where he seemed to be the type of guy who would insufferably talk your ear off about Jack Kerouac and Ginsberg. So Jack Kerouac goes to hell. Dead on this day in 1969, American novelist, poet, beat writer. Dead on this day in 1992, Jim Garrison. Back and to the left. Back and to the left. Jim Garrison. Remember? Yeah, fuck you, Adam. Ethan Hawke. Like 40 minutes later. Yeah, I know. Ethan Hawke. Actually, I didn't. Thank you. Thank you, Adam. This delay is just so disruptive to my desire to have a real, honest give and take with the chat room. Yes, Ethan Hawke. Stupid Jack Kerouac. He's like the Molly Ringwald. What Molly Ringwald is to John Hughes films, he is that to like really pretentious Beat Generation film adaptations. Ethan Hawke. All right, let's keep going. Where are we at? Who's dead now? Jim Garrison. That's right, Jim Garrison. He was the New Orleans prosecutor who brought charges against. I don't know who he brought. He didn't remember. Come on, we all saw Kennedy, or JFK, right? The Oliver Stone movie. Jim Garrison, portrayed by Kevin Costner in this film. Back and to the left. Whatever. He's probably in heaven. I don't know. I'm going to put him in heaven. I liked him. At least in the movie. I like Kevin Costner. But dead on this day in 1995, Shannon Hoon. 1995, Shannon Hoon. Shannon Hoon, it's a he. It's a he named Shannon. Come on. Stupid joke. For nobody. That joke was for nobody. Shannon Hoon was the lead singer of Blind Melon. Remember that song they did? Oh, yeah, like he couldn't sing. He couldn't sing. That dude couldn't sing. All I can say is that my life is pretty plain. That's him. That's Shannon. The bee. Remember the bee? Ha, 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 ha. One of those guys. When we were a very accepting generation of people who, had no vocal talent. We were good. We were like, you're good. Well, you're fine. We don't care. Shannon Hoon. Shannon Hoon, like, wasn't backstage. It was in like, I think it was backstage technically, in that, like, the not the van, the tour bus. Died in his tour bus, went back there, did a bunch of drugs. Shannon Hoon, yeah, he's a rock star, died on tour, probably went to hell. That's right. All right, let's not cry any tears for Shannon Hoon. Man, wasn't that great. Dead on this day in 2003, Elliott Smith. Elliott Smith, another one of these rock guys. What do we know about Elliott Smith? Elliott Smith stabbed himself, right? I always get Tim Buckley and Elliott Smith confused, but they're different. Elliott Smith stabbed himself. He stabbed himself, got into a fight with his girlfriend. His girlfriend, like, I guess, like, ran out of the house or something. And then he started screaming. She ran back in, and he was stabbed. And anyway, there you go. Elliott Smith, his music was very sad. You saw it coming. All right, going to hell. All these people, a lot of people went to hell today. Seriously, Jim Garrison, a lawyer, is the only one that I put in heaven. I got to reverse that. Everybody's going to hell today. It's a Monday. I'm in a salty mood, so everybody else is gonna have to pay the price for that. All right, let's see here. Nina's in the chat room. Hi, Nina. We got Jen Hernandez. Everybody's saying Ethan Hawke. The funny thing is, I like Ethan Hawke. Whenever I think of that, like, insufferable representation of a sensitive male from my generation, I think of him. Hey, speaking of my generation, the baseball gods. Baseball gods are, like, desperately trying to get. I don't know, what do they think? Gen X is now grandparents? That now we're going to have to watch the World Series with our grandkids, bouncing them on our knee, and hopefully, spreading baseball to another generation. This is like the most Gen X friendly World Series. I'm so excited. I know. Well, look, you have to understand, if you're Gen X and you were growing up, coming of age in the late 70s, early 80s, it's like Yankees, Dodgers in a World Series. Yes, please. All seems right with the world. But we'll have more on that later. Let's see. Once again, I'd like to say a big thank you to our executive producer on today's show. Leslie C. is EP. If you want to be tomorrow's, of course, all you got to do is drop a little something here. All right, let's talk about all the things that are happening in the world. Quarter four, let's run through here. We're running through today's show pretty quick. Got to be honest. I don't know if this is going to be a full 2 hours. I'm feeling a little bit, I'm like, geez, I'm looking at what I got to talk about. I don't know how I'm going to fill this time. Israel. Yeah, I know. We open every show. The first thing we talk about is Israel, because I still think it's the big story that's just out there looming. Whatever Israel's going to do in response to Iran's attack. Iran attacked them now almost a month, it feels like. And we've all, the world, by we, the royal we've all been sitting here kind of waiting to see what Iran's going to do. So every day I start the show with Iran, Israel, what up? And there hasn't been anything. However, over the weekend, this is actually something. Israel is still attacking Hezbollah in Lebanon. So we're hearing all of that. That's not the stuff. That stuff's ongoing. We're also going to hear about Israel attacking Hamas in Gaza. That's ongoing. We know about all that. We're interested in Israel and Iran. That's what we're interested in. So over the weekend, apparently, the reason Israel hasn't responded is because the entire world is like talking to Israel. And the entire world is like, okay, you're going to respond. Because Netanyahu's like, I'm going to respond. I'm like, okay, fine. But they're trying to work out like an appropriate response that the whole world can be comfortable with. But that ain't really happening. That ain't the Israeli people, the military, the Israeli government is listening. And they're taking all the meetings with the rest of the world, but it doesn't seem like, anyway, so over the weekend, Who is this? Axios, and it was also published by CNN. A document that says apparently exactly what Israel is going to do to Iran was released. And by the way, today another big piece of breaking news right now is that Israeli tanks are moving into position along the Iranian border. So apparently Israel is still getting ready for whatever it is they're going to do to Iran. Here's the story about the leaked attack plan. The United States is investigating an unauthorized release of classified documents that assess Israel's plan to attack Iran. 3 U.S. officials told the Associated Press. A fourth U.S. official said the documents appear to be legitimate. The documents are attributed to the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency and the National Security Agency, and note that Israel was still moving military assets into place to conduct a military strike in response to Iran's blistering ballistic missile attack on October 1st. They were shareable within the Five Eyes community. Okay, so this is a document that was shared for the Five Eyes. Five Eyes are one of those cool. If you watch The West Wing, you've probably heard these cool government terms before. So the Five Eyes are like, all right, so we have all of these little like buddy groups, little cliques, as the United States of America. If you think about the world, the global world is like a high school. So we're the United States of America, and we're the coolest kids in this high school. And we have a whole bunch of little cliques of people that we hang out with. Sometimes we hang out with the G's. You know, you've heard about us when we hang out with like the G8s or like, you know, whatever. Sometimes we hang out with them. Sometimes we have like, you know, sometimes we hang out with I was gonna say that, but that's not it because we're always kind of with Canada. We always bring Canada along. But anyway, you know what I mean. We got all these different little cliques that we hang out with, and the Five Eyes are one of our little gangs. And I don't know what I don't know. It's a weird grouping. You know who the Five Eyes are? It's us. It's England, which would be Great Britain. So it's us, England, Canada. Okay. So that's like, it's us, England, and Canada. It's like, duh, wherever we go, they go. Us, England, Canada. And then the other two in the Five Eyes are Australia and New Zealand. I mean, it's just like, who's making all the decisions in this little Five Eyes group? It's obviously us. I mean, everybody else, they got to listen to us. Anyway, that's who this document was prepared for. This document about what Israel is planning on doing as a response was supposedly for the Five Eyes only, and it got leaked. So anyway, the documents, which are marked top secret, were posted to Telegram, which I guess is a sketchy ass like Eastern European messaging app that you know your weird uncle probably knows all about. The documents, which are marked top secret, were posted to Telegram, which is a messaging app, and first reported on Saturday evening by Axios. The officials spoke on condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to discuss the matter publicly. So I don't know. I didn't read them, but there you go. There's a link. They're floating the balloon. They want people to react to whatever these plans are to see if they're okay with it. See about this in Georgia. So, first of all, didn't know there were islands in Georgia. Apparently, Georgia's got a lot of islands. Thank you, American public school system. I have no fucking clue that there are islands. Bunch of islands off of Savannah, Georgia. And I bet they are lovely because I have a friend who lives in Savannah. He's lived there for like 20 years. And he's just like, this is like the greatest place ever. So I imagine that if there are like barrier islands off of Savannah, they've got to be gorgeous. But terrible, terrible thing happened over the weekend. Apparently on one of these islands, they were celebrating some kind of like yearly culture fest, you know, whatever. Apparently this one island was settled by freed slaves, and every year they have this big culture thing where hundreds and hundreds of people come out to the island. It's a little island. Anyway, they were all boarding a ferry boat back to the mainland, which is like a couple of mile trek across the water. They were boarding a ferry boat, like hundreds of them, and the walkway, you know, you have these rickety boat walkways. The walkway collapsed. And I don't know, I guess a bunch of them went into the water. A whole bunch of people died. I mean, this is like a real tragedy. Eyewitness video captures frantic efforts to save lives after deadly collapse of dock walkway in Georgia Islands. The metal gangway, where dozens of people waited to board a ferry boat, made a loud creaking noise before snapping in the middle. Amid panicked cries from those sent plunging into the water, some clung desperately to the railing while others began to float away with the tidal current. So, like, people got swept out to sea. This is the ocean. Like, this is the ocean, and it was, I guess, pretty bad. And the thing collapsed because the thing that when I saw this being reported, the thing I thought was because I used to be kind of a lake guy. I spent a lot of time on these. I know what they're talking about here. These little they rise and lower with the tides, and they're always wet, but they're ways to cross little bodies of water at dock areas or ferry stations. So I'm familiar with it. And all I can think of is if one collapsed, like at Lake Louisville, okay, I'd get wet. And I think about them like on Lake Michigan, where I grew up, and I'm like, okay, maybe that's a little more dangerous because the waves and the currents are a little bit bigger, and they could sweep you under and bang your head on a dock. I don't know. It could be bad. But this is the ocean, man. Anyway, says here, there was no time for anyone to get off the platform. Let's see, it said Icy White. Icy White is the eyewitness here. There was no time for anyone to get off, said Icy White, who watched from about 30 feet away at the ferry's dock. It took seconds for everyone to go under. White's family was among hundreds visiting the isolated Georgia Barrier Island Saturday for a fall festival spotlighting the history and culture of its tiny Gula Geechee community of black slave descendants. That's what I was telling you about. The celebration gave way to tragedy when the gangway collapsed, sending 7 visitors to their deaths. 7 people died. Oh, no, that's not good. Jeez Louise. 7 people. God. Last week we told you about the Texas death row shaken baby dude. They didn't kill him. They didn't kill him. Remember, he was supposed to be killed on Thursday. This is the guy I told you about who years and years ago, like 30 years ago, whatever, during the height of the shaken baby situation. You remember shaken baby when everybody was being sent to jail because if their babies died, it was because they were a bad parent who shook their baby. Anyway, it's been kind of widely, many of the cases have been debunked. So this guy's on death row. He's going to be killed. He accused of shaking his baby to death. He's like, I didn't shake my baby. My baby fell out of the bed and banged her head. This is horrible for me. Anyway, that's been his story the whole time. And what makes it even more complicated is that the original prosecutor who got him prosecuted and put him in jail, and the original detective, the lead detective on the case that brought the evidence that got him convicted, that got him the death penalty, the prosecutor and the original investigator are like, yeah, we don't think he did it. Actually, we think that this was just, we got a conviction on him. It was pretty easy, but we don't actually think he did it. The guy who investigated it for the state, the reason that he's being put down, says, I don't think he did it. I don't think he did it. So that's where we were last week, and I'm like, nah, Greg Abbott ain't gonna do anything here. Greg Abbott ain't gonna help him out, and he didn't really. It was the Texas Supreme Court who finally stepped in. So what had happened was a bipartisan group of Texas state legislatures. By bipartisan, you know what that means on both sides. This isn't a political thing. People on both sides with strong moral compasses said, wait a second. Maybe this guy doesn't deserve to die. Maybe the state shouldn't be. So what they did was they created a hearing where that guy was going to have to come and testify and explain to the Texas state legislature exactly what's going on. However, the hearing was scheduled after he was supposed to be put to death. So everybody was wondering what's going to happen. Well, guess what happened? Supreme Court of Texas stepped in. They spared him. He is now today appearing in front of that Texas. We don't know how long. 6 months, they said. So at the very least, he's got until the first of the year. They say that it won't be until early 2025 for if that, when they reschedule it. So here we go. All right, so that's what happened with that dude. That dude was not put to death. The guy in Alabama on the same day. Remember, I told you we were putting 2 people down on the same day. The dude in Alabama, he was the dude who smoked a whole bunch of meth and then broke into the house where his ex-girlfriend was staying and killed everybody with an axe. Yeah, I'll have you know that guy's gone. He wanted to go. He was like, I did it. Can we just get this over with? He's gone. So, okay. So I guess we can be okay with that. The other dude in Texas, he's like, I didn't kill my baby. And the reason this one is powerful as it is, because I need to ask you to just imagine. Just I know. Oh, he's a dirtbag. He probably killed his baby. Okay, just stop that. Imagine you lost your baby in a tragic, tragic way. Just walk with me on this, okay? Just imagine you lost your baby. Tragic, tragic situation. And then on top of it, you spent the last 30 years in jail because they railroad, because you really didn't do it. Just imagine for a second that he really didn't do it, and he lost his baby, and he lost his life. I mean, can't we just, while everybody's talking about this dude, let's just take a moment and let's look at the case again. Let's see what's going on here. I mean, at the very least, he's been in prison for years and years, right? Okay. The ultimate thing of taking state-sponsored murder, which is what I think public, state executions are, is something we should take our time with. All right, let's keep going. Hey, they got no power in Cuba. Did you see this? Apparently, this is a big story. It's been a big story for a couple of days. I've been ignoring it. I've been like, I don't care about power in Cuba, but now they got another one of these here tropical storms bearing down on the island. I don't know if that's going to affect Florida. Is it still, when does this season end? When does, you know what I mean? Anyway, Cuban power, the failure of the Antonio Gutierrez plant. That's the plant. They named a plant after this guy. The failure of the Antonio Gutierrez plant on Friday, which caused the collapse of the island's whole power system, was just the latest in a series of problems with energy distribution in a country where electricity has been restricted and rotated to different regions at different times of the day. The status of Cuba's other power plants was unclear. So they got all this problem with the power just because a normal thing happened and the whole island lost power. Now they got a tropical storm blowing through. Yeah. Remember what I said Friday? When are we just going to take over Cuba? Let's just make Cuba another state. Let's just go. Come on, let's take Cuba. Let's take the Bahamas. Let's take Jamaica. We already got the U.S. Virgin Islands. Let's take Bermuda. Let's take all of that shit. Let's make them all American things. Why? I don't know. Just because it seems like we should. It seems like they should be. I don't know. I don't like the idea of other countries, being that close. All right, let's keep going. Trump talked about dicks over the weekend. This ain't political. This is just funny. Okay, so Trump, he's down there. Where is he? Was this Pennsylvania or was this Michigan? I don't know, whatever. So Trump's out there, and Arnold Palmer comes up. I've never heard this. And I know all the old men with big dicks. I know about Milton Berle. I know about Forrest Tucker. I know about Charles Bronson. I know about all these guys and their rumored, legendary status. I've heard about Errol Flynn. Yeah, a lot of them. Milton Berle, did I say him? He's probably the most famous. Never heard about Arnold Palmer. Never heard that Arnold Palmer had a big giant whatever. I think Trump's making it up just because, he's feeling a little bit silly and he was, decided to go for it. Anyway, he gets up in front of this crowd, and I guess he's at Arnold Palmer Airport. Like maybe Arnold Palmer, this is his hometown or something. I don't know. Arnold Palmer was a guy who invented lemonade and iced tea. That's what he did. He did something else too, but he's mostly well known for the guy who had like an iced tea and a lemonade, and then he mixed them together, and that became why he's famous. Don't bother looking it up, but that's what he's famous for. He invented iced tea and lemonade. So he got an airport name because people love that. People love iced tea and lemonade. So they named an airport after him. And so Trump is at the airport and he's like, yeah, I'm here at Arnold Palmer Airport. And then he just, for some reason, he just starts swinging it, which is what I love. Which is why I'm telling you, so people showing up to this thing, man, they are getting these MAGA speeches. When he is like, just, I don't give a fuck anymore, which is like where he is fun. And he does shit like he did over the weekend. He just started talking about Arnold Palmer's dick. Yeah, he did. I mean, I know it's crazy. It's crazy in the context of this is the guy that, wants to be the leader of the free world. But still also funny. It's like something that Howard Stern would have brought up on The Tonight Show in 1996. Remember when Howard Stern was like the best talk show guest ever because he'd get up and he'd just start talking about really inappropriate shit? We're getting that now from a dude that wants to be president again. And it's awesome. All right, so here it is. We got it. We got Trump up there talking dicks. What, you think I wasn't going to have it? You think I wasn't going to show it to you? Hold on. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Sorry. All right.
And
All right. I mean, what if Kamala was talking about dicks? What, did she blow it? I mean, come on, man. The double standard. This is insane. This isn't normal behavior for anybody who wants to be president. But you people are just acting like, what? I'm still voting. It's not normal. Come on. You got a double standard. You're nitpicking on everything that. Ugh. All right, watch this. This is awesome.
oh man, this man was strong and tough. And I refuse to say it, but when he took showers,
Look at that willpower. Can we just say, look at that willpower of this man. I refuse to say it, but I'm going to immediately say it. But I refuse to say it. God. Off script Trump is
with the
awesome.
pros, and oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
He was all man.
This man was strong and tough. And I refuse to say it, but when he took showers with the other pros, they came out of there, they said, oh my God, that's unbelievable. I had to say it. I had to say it.
Why did he have to say it? Why did he have to say it? I mean, I'm glad he did. Don't get me wrong.
We have women that are highly sophisticated here, but they used to look at Alicia bad. But
hold on. That's I like that one. That one kind of got through the legs. Here, check this out. He like totally patronizes women, but it's fine. It's not a big deal.
That's unbelievable. I had to say it. I had to say it. We have women that are highly sophisticated here.
Like, we have women who get, hey, we've actually got women who get dick jokes, unlike them libs, huh?
But they used to look at Alicia bad. But he was really, oh man.
I don't know. Anyway, there you go. There's Trump. Trump over the weekend talking about Arnold Palmer's dick. Very weird. Very fun. He's so tired, man. There was another video of him over the weekend in Detroit sleeping. Like he was on the dais and he's like sleeping. It's just doesn't matter. He doesn't care. People don't care. That, I mean, in another candidate, that's like, Kamala, did you see her falling asleep? But, in their candidate, it's like, we don't talk about that. That didn't happen. We choose to not have seen that. Did you see it? We saw it. Okay, so it didn't happen. We choose not to have. I mean, that's, whatever. He's funny. He's freaking hysterical, that guy. All right, let's go. What else do we got? Trump talks dicks. We did that. How about this? Baldwin on SNL. They brought Alec Baldwin on SNL, and if you blinked, you missed it. It wasn't like wasn't a big showcase piece. Although some people were like, he was so good as Brett Baer. I'm like, what? How are you good at Brett Baer? Dude's not even remotely interesting. That's what he's playing. He's playing Brett Baer. He's playing Brett Baer because he used to play Trump, right? Remember that? That would be a little bit too much. And also, I think everybody who loves SNL, myself included, would have been very upset if they brought Alec Baldwin back and made him be Trump, because the guy they got doing Trump is like the funniest Trump on the planet. J. Walter Johnson or whatever the hell his name, James Austin Greer. I don't know what his name is, but he's funny. He's very funny. And he does Trump awesome. So Alec Baldwin on this day, look at this, on this day, it's the anniversary of the Rust shooting incident that made Alec Baldwin a bit of a pariah in some circles. So he showed up on Saturday Night Live. It was, he played Brett Baer. It was the cold open. The cold open is the thing that precedes the introductions on Saturday Night Live. It's the very first thing that you ever see. And the cold open is almost always some kind of news take, something on something that has occurred in the news. It's where they do their presidential impressions, all that kind of stuff. So, of course, Maya Rudolph, this is the 50th season of Saturday Night Live, and they're bringing in a whole bunch of old cast members from the 50 years. So Maya Rudolph, of course, a former cast member, she's getting, and this was a no-brainer, she's playing Kamala Harris, a role that she has played in the past, and she's great at it. So there you go. So Maya Rudolph is Kamala Harris. We got the Trump guy. That's that James Austin Johnson Green, whatever his name is. I don't know, something like that. It was okay. Yeah, I got nothing else to say. I mean, whatever. I don't know. His Alec Baldwin's Brett Baer was meh. It was as far as the cold open goes, it was meh. It was it was a satire of the Brett Baer Fox News interview that was in and of itself pretty meh. All right, there you have it. That's it. Alec Baldwin on Saturday Night Live. Guys, we're running out of stuff. We're like only an hour, less than an hour into this show, and we're almost out of stuff. I don't know. Ugh. It's not a very big news day. World Series. Yeah, we're stretching when I'm sitting here talking World Series. The World Series is all set. It's going to face the New York Football Yankees. No, the New York Yankees and the Los Angeles Dodgers. And I told you this on Friday. The elimination of the New York Mets. Okay, fine. And the Cleveland Guardians. Cleveland Guardians were the poor team in this mix of the four teams. Of the four teams that made it to the final four teams in Major League Baseball, three of them were the biggest spenders in the league. You got two teams in New York, the Mets and the Yankees, which outspent everybody because the New York market. And then you had Los Angeles, the Los Angeles Dodgers over on the other, they can spend. So a lot of people complain about this. Oh, baseball's just going to be 4 or 5 teams every single year for the rest of time. Okay, whatever, because here's the upside to that. If that is in fact the case, at least we're going to get the game's biggest superstars. That was a problem with baseball for a lot of years, that the game's biggest superstars were not being showcased in its biggest game. Mike Trout. They told us Mike Trout was a generational, transformative baseball player, while also being a true throwback, a 5-tool throwback. And we've never seen nobody has ever seen Mike Trout play on that big stage, right? So anyway, we got the big stars. Sorry, Mike Trout, but the game has passed you by. But we've got the big stars guaranteed to be in prime time for the next 2 weeks. And that's good. That's good. I keep telling you, man, baseball is doing everything that they can. They're dying. It is a dying sport. There's nothing they can do to save it because the past 20, 25 years have been steeped in such arrogance that I think they've done irreparable harm to their salvation. I don't think they can be saved. But whatever. They seem to be doing a lot of good things with their death kicks, right? So whatever. It's going to be a fun World Series to watch. The big stars, biggest, most expensive players in all of baseball are going to be there. So, I don't know. Me and 15 other people will probably be watching it, but good for baseball. World Series. There you go. World Series talk. I don't have anything more to say. I wish I did. I don't. See, what else do we got here? How about this? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about football, NFL football from yesterday. Did you see the Deshaun Watson situation? A couple of injuries that I'm very concerned about. One more so than all the others. Jaden Daniels and his rib injury. Jaden Daniels of the Commanders. He left the game yesterday. Rib injuries. We're waiting to find out exactly what it is. I need Jaden Daniels to be healthy. My Bears are going to be playing Jaden Daniels on Sunday. It's the game of the week. We get Romo, we get Nance. It's going to be the first of what I'm sure the NFL hopes will be a generation of face-offs between Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels. They're already trying to draw the comparisons between Peyton Manning and Tom Brady and, all that kind of stuff. So whatever, we're all very excited until we hear that Jaden Daniels is maybe, going to be a little banged up, maybe not even play. Come on, man. I don't want to beat the Commanders with a backup. Who's their backup? Marcus Mariota? No, thank you. No, thank you. I want to beat them. I want Caleb Williams, the number 1 pick in last year's draft, squaring off against Jaden Daniels, the number 2 pick in last year's draft. Let's go. Let's see these guys. But then, how about this one? This is the one that I was really concerned with. And not concerned, but interested in. What is the word? My curiosity was piqued. I've been watching this. The Deshaun Watson situation. Deshaun Watson is, of course, even people that don't follow the NFL know that Deshaun Watson is like one of the world's most famous rapists, serial rapists, really. Let's give him all the credit that he deserves. Like, this is a dude that, like, 20-something women, 22, 23, maybe more, have come forward to say that he got rapey and, like, pushy during massage sessions. And, one woman accusing him and all that, but there's like 22 women. Apparently this was over and over and whatever. Anyway, turns out he's a creep. He is a creep. He is also, at the very same time, at least he was, an extremely talented quarterback. So in the midst of all of this, he's a creep. 22 women say that, he's doing sex stuff with them when they don't want him to be doing sex stuff. 22 women. This is down there in Houston. Houston works out a way to get rid of him, so they ship him to Cleveland. In the middle of all of the rapey stuff, Cleveland decides to give him a $200 million fully guaranteed contract. Fuck Cleveland. I mean, that is just dumb. Anyway, Deshaun Watson's been in Cleveland now with this $200 million completely guaranteed contract, and he's been terrible. He's been injured. He's been shitty as a player. He's done. And yesterday got injured. Yesterday got injured pretty seriously. Yesterday got injured to an extent that, a lot of guys, they might just call it a career. They might just be like done with it, because in order to get back, this is what Deshaun Watson is looking at. In order to get back from what we think, and I guess we don't have the full understanding of what the injury is, we're gonna wait. But if it is what's being reported, he's got a year and a half at least of like real serious rehab, multiple surgeries possible, but at least one very serious surgery. But oftentimes they go 2-3 surgeries. I was listening to a thing this morning as I was driving in here about what he's looking at. Then it's going to be possibly another like half year, 2 years, basically, before he can he's going to miss all of this year and he's going to miss all of next year. Okay. With this injury, if it's what they think it could be. Does he want this? What is he going to work his way back to? What is he trying to work his way back to? Just being the guy who's a passable NFL quarterback who's also a social pariah who everybody hates? He's got $200 million guaranteed. He needs to retire. He needs to just be like, you know what? I'm going to go away. Look at, here's what I would say. Look at Michael Vick. Michael Vick has been mainstreamed back into family NFL culture in a way that I never thought was possible. Michael Vick, how long was he gone? 10 years, seriously, after he got out of prison and he was allowed back with the Eagles. For those of you who don't know, Michael Vick killed animals. Michael Vick ran a dog fighting ring. And if you don't know the details, or as I think he's betting on, and his people and his ESPN and Disney, what they're all betting on is that we don't remember the details of what he did. Oh, what? He just, we think conveniently to absolve ourselves of any sort of moral weight on this issue. We think, he just gave his hillbilly friends money. No, he was actively involved in dog fighting. He murdered dogs with his own hands. Go back and read. He murdered an animal, a puppy, in front of his child because his child wouldn't stop crying. So Michael Vick grabbed a puppy, a pit bull puppy, walked up to his kid and snapped the puppy's neck in front of the kid and threw the dog down. I'm not making that up. That is from the testimony. That's why he went to prison. Okay? He didn't go to prison just because he gave money to his cousin Luther, who was running a dog fighting ring in the woods. He went to prison because he was actively involved in it and murdered animals. So, why is that a big deal? Because now he's like hosting shit. He's like Mr. fucking, people forgot an entire generation, They don't get to see the details about how I murdered helpless little animals. Dogs in America. And we allowed him back. So, my point is this. Deshaun Watson needs to take his $200 million. He needs to go live on top of a mountain somewhere for 10 years and then slowly start slide. He'll be back. He'll be doing Monday Night Football in 10 years. I'm telling you. Deshaun Watson, we hate him now. Anyway, do we even want to see the injury? Do we need to see it? The crowd booed him when he was injured, so there's a lot of people who are upset about that. Namely, Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston, his video's out there. Jameis Winston, who's the backup now, he went off on Cleveland fans for booing Deshaun Watson. Election calls. Can't take election calls. Not now, not during the show. Let's see here. Deshaun Watson. Okay, hey, how about WNBA? WNBA. What's that? You're all saying, Pugs, what are you doing? You're talking WNBA. We don't talk WNBA on this show. WNBA is over in a historic season. The New York Liberty, okay? They beat, who did they beat? The Lynx? Who won? Sunday's 67-62 overtime victory for the New York Liberty against the Minnesota Lynx in the deciding game of the Game 5 of the WNBA Finals. Hey, happy... So I watched some WNBA games this year. I did. I got totally swept up by it. There's a lot of marketing. There's a lot of hype. They did a really effective job, especially on socials, of getting people like me who are open-minded, who didn't think I had any room for girls basketball. I've seen girls basketball. It's not new. It's been around for decades. I mean, I remember Cheryl Swopes. I remember Miller. Let's just call her Cheryl Miller. Was it Cheryl Swopes and Cheryl Miller? I remember Rebecca Lobo, right? I remember all these players. So, I mean, I'm familiar with it. But this year there was sort of a different kind of vibe in the league. So I watched some of the games, and I can tell you, I kind of enjoyed them. And I'll also tell you this, my 15-year-old son who loves sports, he does not make this sort of distinction between women's basketball and other forms of sport. He sees it as, like, from his generational viewpoint, it's a legit sport. And some of these girls are just as famous to him as, anyone who's successful in any other sport that he doesn't watch. I mean... Anyways, big year for the WNBA. Big year, big stars, big name brand stars that they've never had before. Anyway, there you go. Anyway, WNBA, big season, biggest season ever. Not just because of Caitlin Clark, but because I guess a number of other people. But Caitlin Clark was certainly a big reason for it. But I can tell you, somebody who ingests a lot of Chicago sports media, the Sky is a very big subject that a lot of people seem to be interested in. And, Angel Reese is somebody that's talked about all the time in Chicago. She's painted on the side of buildings. So something's happening is my point. And if you're dug in, if you're just like, yeah, fuck that. 20 years ago, I said it wasn't a sport and I'm just never going to. Just stop it. It's evolving. It's evolving into something that I could watch. And Angel Reese is hot. She's hot, man. She's hot. All right, let's go. What else do we have here? Hey, how about the AP Top 25? The AP Top 25, something that we were all watching last week when Texas, hook 'em, was number one, sitting high atop the polling as America's favorite, America's number one, America's best, most respected, most feared football team in all the land. University of Texas, the Longhorns, number one. That's not the case anymore. Yeah, UT after losing on Saturday night. Fuck, man, did that game suck? Okay, couple of things that were being screamed in our house during that game. We both wanted Arch Manning in. Like as soon as here was my rationale. I know you can't look. It's terrible. It's a terrible situation for Quinn Ewers, but he should have transferred. He should have transferred. Should have transferred 2 years ago. When Arch Manning came in, Quinn Ewers should have transferred. Because the problem with Quinn Ewers now is that he's not as good as the guy that everybody's waiting for. We're waiting for Arch Manning. Ewers ain't as good. Ewers isn't good. You know, I don't give a fuck what big UT football has decided to try and make a truth. It's not a truth. Ewers is not a first-round NFL quarterback. He's like a backup. He's not great, man. Stop it, okay? You got a guy behind him who is great. But we're at this point now for him to be benched like now for Arch Manning. Oh God, that's gonna fuck that poor kid's draft even more. Like now, you know, instead people were talking about him. He's going to be first quarterback taken. I'm like, oh God, he's not that great. Team is great. Team around him is pretty damn great. He ain't that great, man. Anyway. So that's the problem. If like at the end of the first quarter, if you're Sark or my kid and I, and my kid's a big UT fan, we're sitting there and we're like, he's got to make this change. He's got to make the change. You can't screw around with Georgia. You're the number one team in the nation, Texas. You got to protect that. Georgia can beat you here, okay? So who's the quarterback? But no, they stayed with him. They stayed with him until, you know, it didn't really matter. And then it was like... It's a one-loss year. It's a one-loss year. One loss doesn't define you, okay? Unless, of course, Oregon runs the table. So is Oregon still undefeated? I think they are. At any rate, Oregon is the new number one team in the nation. Let's see here. Let's look. Texas, as I told you, Texas has fallen to number 5, but still, 5 is good. No problem with 5. All right, here you go. Number 5 is Texas. Texas, their next opponent is, who cares? Number 4 is Ohio State at 5-1. Number 3 is Penn State at 6-0. Number 2 is the aforementioned Georgia Bulldogs at 6-1, and the number 1 team in the nation, the new number 1 team in the nation is Oregon, the Mighty Ducks, 7-0. I gotta tell you, I'm just noticing this now for the first time, and I'm quite proud. I'm quite proud as a Great Lakes Midwestern football fan. Look at my Big Ten. Look at my... Oh, what? I thought the SEC is the only place you could go play real football. I thought the SEC was the only kind. Number 1 team in the nation, Big Ten. Number 2 team in the nation, Georgia. Southeastern, SEC. Number 3 team in the nation. Number 3 team in the nation, Big Ten, Penn State. Number 4 team in the nation, Big Ten, Ohio State. Number 5 team in the nation, Southeastern, SEC, Texas. There you go. Let's see. Anybody else catching my eye? We watched a lot of college football over the weekend. Tennessee. Tennessee. Anybody else unbeaten? BYU is unbeaten. Iowa State is unbeaten. Indiana is unbeaten. Those are garbage unbeatens. You've played nobody. All right. Let's see here. Guys, you know what? How crazy is this? That's it. That's basically it, guys. Got nothing else. I don't know what to tell you. All right, that's it. We're out. We're out of show. I mean, we've done shows where, I always try to shoot for about 2 hours. We've done shows where we've fallen short of, 2 hours, but not like this. This is bad. I guess to make it okay, we've done plenty of shows that were well over 2 hours. We've run over 2 hours. We've gone 3. We've gone 4.5. I think 4.5 is the longest we've done. So this'll have to suffice. Once again, a big thank you to our executive producer of today's show, the lovely Leslie C. If you want an executive producer badge, there is no such thing as an executive producer badge. I'm sorry I said that. Anyway, big tipper in the day. You'll get to be tomorrow's executive producer. There's got to be other things I want to talk about. Let me just jump around. Let me see. Let's see. Let's see if there's anything new. I mean, look, this is where we get into all the stuff that I didn't want to talk about. Like, I didn't want to talk about Trump working at McDonald's, although I got a lot of material. I don't want to talk about Trump working at McDonald's. I don't want to talk about the polls. You notice we don't go through the polls every day. Ugh. Let's see here. I don't want to talk about Elon paying people. Elon's got something where he's paying people. Sign up. I'll sign up. Where do I go? I'll sign whatever. If you're paying, man, if Elon's paying people, I'll sign whatever he wants me to. Let's see here. Oh, Arnold Palmer's daughter is apparently humiliated and angry at Trump because Trump started talking about Arnold Palmer's dick. I'm just reading it. Arnold Palmer daughter. Okay, here's what Arnold Palmer's daughter says. Vulgar ramblings are an unfortunate way to remember my dad. What else do we got here? Extraterrestrial, it says here, gives first TV interview claiming humans are DNA experts or experiments. Extraterrestrial gives first TV interview claiming humans are DNA experiments. Well, that's huge. That's big news if true. MAGA ground game. I see. I don't want to read anything that says MAGA on it. What's this? Blade Runner producer sues Elon Musk over AI. Okay, I don't care about that. Sorry. Somebody's out there counting the geese in Springfield just to prove that there are still geese in the city of Springfield and they haven't all been eaten by Haitians. Whatever. What do we got here? Big tech. Meet the Florida billionaire who wants to be a newspaper baron. Nah, I'm going to pass on that. Chick-fil-A is releasing an entertainment app with family-friendly shows and podcasts. Whatever. I don't know. Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A's good. You know what we did over the weekend? Here's because I told you my kid was all lazy. So you know what our big splurge was this weekend? Our big splurge was that we actually did Uber Eats. Like we had Uber Eats deliver food to us, which is something I never do. Have you ever seen like Uber Eats is for rich people, man. I'm telling you, because have you ever seen the add-on charges when you get some? Because then, and they, you got to tip. And I always tip 20% because that's just, it's like I got like $15 worth of food. And then the bill, it's like you look down total. All right, I ordered $15 worth of food. You look down at the total, $45.50. I'm like, what? What do you mean $45.50? Well, it's a $15 service fee. What? Anyway, it's ridiculous. So I never do that. But we were watching football and we were hungry. and we both had cravings for the same thing, which was Chinese food. So we got Panda Express. We had the Uber guy deliver it in, and we just ate. We ate Chinese food all night long, And then there's all kinds of leftover Chinese food because we bought too much. And the next day, he's like, "I'm hungry," and I'm like, "There's all kinds of Chinese food left over." And he looks at me and he goes, "Leftover Chinese food? Ew." So now I'm just like stuck with all this leftover Chinese food. And it's shit that I would never have ordered. It's just stuff that he wanted. And I'm like, I would never order this. Vegetables with peanuts? What is the, you can't even order good, bad Chinese food. Hold on a second. What else does I have? All right. Here we go. Fine. Thank you for the extra reminder, April. April, producing from afar. Here we go. We do have some information, some breaking information, as it pertains to Liam Payne. Liam Payne, of course, the singer from One Direction, who went off a balcony. We're not sure if he was pushed. I got theories on this guy. Although, you know what's crazy about this? I forgot about this guy. Totally forgot about him over the weekend. Believe it or not a big subject with my 15-year-old son. Did not want to talk about it. Didn't see any news with him. No, I don't know. So here we go. So the autopsy results. Liam Payne. I've got theories. Let's go with the autopsy. Autopsy finds that Liam Payne had multiple drugs in his body, including cocaine, pink cocaine, which is a mix which includes meth, ketamine, and MDMA, benzodiazepine, and crack. Benzodiazepine and crack. Okay. All right. So he had crack. He had all the stuff. He had everything that, like, you know, a dude in his position could have access to. So I still don't know. I mean, that all that tells me is that he was partying, and I think we knew he partied. So he's acting a fool. Hotel management calls the police. They say, we got a guest who's acting crazy. Can you get here? We think he might be a danger to himself. Cops show up. Cops are like, yeah, you're right. He's acting crazy. And while the cops are there going, yeah, you're right. He's acting crazy, Liam Payne somehow exits his third floor hotel. So the question is, right? This is what is the first question? The first question is, what did he do? Did he jump? Suicide because he was upset and out of control? Was he pushed? Somebody throw him? Was this an act? Was somebody else? Did somebody else's actions end with him losing his life? Okay. Or did he slip? Or because he's fucked up on all this shit, is he just not someone who should be around an edge or a ledge or anything like that? I don't know. I don't think he jumped. I think he probably was. I still think that he was threatening to jump. I think that he was doing this whole, and now the police are here, you know, and he's standing on this thing and he's fucked up. So I think he fell, and I think, I don't know. I think this happens from time to time. I think there are people who we just think are suicides, and they're not suicides. They slipped. They were trying to make you think they were, but they didn't want to kill themselves. They just slipped. All right, there you have it. That's the latest on Liam Payne. Liam Payne. Let's see, what else do we have? Hold on. Let me see. Who's playing tonight? Who's tonight's Monday Night Football game? I'm still okay. So I'm just scrolling through some news stories here. I think this Cheney chick's kind of cute. I don't know. I know she's been around forever, and I've never looked at her twice. But this Cheney chick is kind of I don't know. That's a conversation for drinks. We'll have drinks, then ask me. Pugs, what do you think of that Cheney chick? I don't know. What's her first name? Lynn? I don't know. She's kind of cute. Browns fans cheer for Deshaun Watson's injury weeks after he settled 21st sexual misconduct lawsuit. Teammates defend him as a model citizen. Well, I don't know if 22 massage therapists would echo that, but okay. Guys, that's it. I think that's it. I think no matter what I do, I'm trying to like push here. We got 2 games. Hey, Adam, is this one of? It's one of the. He says there's 2 games tonight. God, Jesus, I don't like these 2 games. Can we just get one Monday night game? All right. Anyway, that's it. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know how we ripped through everything. First of all, I should have known there was only like 5 historical events that I found interesting, and then there was only a few. Oh man, I hope it's not me. I hope it's not me, and I'm just like, no, that's not interesting. And the show's short because of it. I hope today's just kind of a bullshit day. It's up to you, me, and the rest of us to turn this bullshit day into a winning day, folks. Let's all meet back here tomorrow, same time, round about noon, for more Rant, talk radio for normal people with me, Pugs Moran. Once again, thank you so much to our executive producer, Leslie C. If you guys want to help the show continue, drop a little something there. Oh, I know something that I got to do here, by the way. We got new lights. We got like a new light system, and I was screwing around with that at the start of today's show and had to abandon that. So let me get working on that. With new lights. We'll get rid of these crazy lighting situations. All right. Love you guys. Bye.